Hi everybody, how are you? And welcome to another live Q&A session. Today we're actually going to switch it up. I know we were going to talk about traction today and Keystone strategies next week, but it kind of makes sense to swap the two because Keystone strategies are imperative to have those set prior to looking to get traction. Okay, so for those of you who are tuning in for your first time, just have a few quick announcements. One, this live Q&A is recorded and it will live in Molo9's repository, so as well as on this YouTube channel. So this does mean that if you have any questions, you want to keep them high level, just so you don't have competitors tuning in and seeing what you were asking and trying to mess with you before you get a chance to carry out whatever you were planning on doing next. If you want to deep dive into your details so I can give you more custom tailored advice, we do have a one-on-one and small group coaching session page that lists all the options available right now. Here's the link to book one of these. I just dropped it into the comments. Okay. And then along these same lines, today I will probably use some examples I've witnessed throughout my career. And I can only share either the details or the name of the company. I cannot do both, as this would be a breach of contract for MD9 clients. And lastly, for those of you who do not know who I am, I'm going to do a quick intro so that you know the types of questions I'm best equipped to answer. If you have questions that I am not equipped to answer, then you can just drop them into our Facebook group. There are a lot of brilliant agency owners using Molo9 with their own client projects now. So chances are that if I don't know the answer to one of your questions, someone else in this group will. Okay, so I have spent more than a decade in the startup space doing something called growth hacking. Now, growth hackers are a bit different from traditional marketers in that we look at the whole funnel, not just generating leads or getting you website conversions. This means that I do play around with actually more than 100 different customer acquisition channels, and I'm not too committed to any one channel. My favorite type of growth hacking is something that's called blitzscaling, which means that we grow companies really fast. This is crucial for very competitive startups that are going into very competitive industries, and entering into very competitive markets. Thank you for whoever just gave a thumbs up. I currently now own 5 companies and brands that are all geared towards helping startup founders. Molo9 is the one that guides you, obviously, to do it yourself with your own marketing strategies. MD9 gives you access to our strategists. Molo9 allows you to be your own strategist or allow software to be your strategist. And then we have 9Apple that helps with just like mental health type topics for startup founders, because sometimes it can be very demotivating when competitors and trolls are cyber stalking and cyberbullying you. We have all been there. We all get it. And so 9Apple was kind of created just to help you kind of figure out how to protect yourself emotionally so that you can invest your emotional energy and mental energy into growing your company instead of being frustrated at crazy people harassing you online. And then 9x90 is the 4th brand that is publicly facing, and that one we feature startup founders who have quote unquote made it so that you can listen to and learn from their key takeaways to implement that with your own startup. Okay, now into today's topic. What are Keystone strategies? They're basically just marketing strategies and tactics that have secondary and tertiary effects on the success of all of your sales and marketing initiatives. This is why I recommend implementing these first in Molo9's recommended roadmap in your portal. Most of the keystones that I'm going to discuss today revolve around improving the number of people who come to your website and then either sign up for whatever you want them to sign up for, be it an email list, a webinar, a class, a consulting call, a demo, whatever you want them to sign up for, or they purchase your product or service. Okay, so an example of a Keystone strategy, first we call them Keystones because I don't know if you've ever seen like an arch, like the one in that, there we go, in that right there. What allows that arch to sit like and hold is a stone that goes in the middle, and when that stone is dropped in, then the entire arch stone, like all the stones can weigh down on each other and they can work with gravity to make this beautiful archway. So the keystone is a stone that the entire arch depends on to be able to stay in position. That's why we call these keystone strategies, random fact. Anyways, an example of one, I want you to think about the last time you purchased something from a website that did not have customer testimonials on the site. No customer testimonials, no examples of the product being used, no case studies about the service and the results it gave, nothing. Chances are it's very difficult for you to remember a time when you did purchase something without any reviews, testimonials, anything. There's something that I call the first 3 rule, and what we've noticed is that when a startup founder comes out with their new tech and they launch it with 0 testimonials, 0 use cases, 0 case studies, it's much harder for them to get anyone to buy. You should not be surprised if a lot of people come to your website but do not make a decision to purchase or move forward in any way if you do not have any use cases, any case studies, any testimonials on your site. But there are some other things that should be on your site as well. And this has nothing to do with you and your startup and everything to do with the fact that, for starters, there are a lot of scams out there, but also there are people out there who they launch a startup thinking it's going to be a lot of fun, or they launch a startup because they have to for a college project, but they have no intention of bringing that to fruition. So they launch something, they put up a few products, and they may or may not fulfill them. Or they sell you something, and then the startup's dead a year later. There are certain things that you can put on your site that kind of are indicators that your startup is here to stay. And when you have all of these things up, including your testimonials and case studies, then you'll notice that people put more trust in your company and they're more likely to move forward with their purchasing decisions. All right. So, the list, I call this the crucial website content list. I'm going to drop it into the comments now instead of reading off a list of what should be in your header and footer. As interesting as that might be for some people, I know most people will be falling asleep in 4 minutes. And while you're editing your site, there's also a list of things that you can add that not only improve your SEO, but it also makes your life easier. And I'm going to drop that list in here as well. Maybe. If it agrees to copy, why are you not working? Oh. ¿Por qué no funciona? Sorry. Okay, this is being difficult. Give me 1 second. There's the link. Now paste. It's not letting me paste. Why are you not letting me paste? Okay, I'm gonna have to do it this way. Where is it? Here we are. Okay, I'll drop the link in here. Maybe, maybe not. It's not letting me drop the link in anywhere. YouTube has an error message and I can't get past it to give you guys this link. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out later. I don't know why this is not working. Okay, I can do that. Now, why can't it let me? Oh my god. There we go. No. Okay, it's not letting me tell you guys where to go for this. So I'm going to drop the title in. And then, there we go. I wonder if they just disabled my ability to do link sharing. Okay, sorry. I'm going to drop the title in, and then you can search for it in Molo9. That was frustrating. Okay, on to the next topic, pricing. Okay, the most important keystone, and this one is like very easy to mix up and get confused with, is pricing. There is a startup founder who was asking me for help the other day with his deal that he has going on, and he couldn't understand why nobody was purchasing his deal. And it was because what he wanted people to purchase, he listed as the most expensive package on his website. And there's a few different psychological phenomenon or titles that explain why people tend to not purchase the most expensive option on your site, especially if you're a brand new startup with no testimonials. But in short, what you want to do is when you're, I'm going to talk about pricing as if you're a young or early new company, because most of the people who have been in the business for decades and industry experts, they already know the pricing games. So if you are just rolling out your first product or service, I want you to do something. I want you to take the product or service as you want to give it to people. Like what excites you most, and like, this is going to be awesome. People are going to love it. Great. That's your middle price. You want to have whatever price you make for that end in a 9.9 or a 9.5. If it ends in zeros, you can expect a little bit lower conversion rates, and people will also view it as being a little bit more, as it having a higher margin than if it ends in a 9.9 or 9.5. So they for whatever reason believe that you've overpriced it if it ends in zeros. This is not a problem if you're in the luxury market, if you are in the high-end market. If you are towards the side of wanting to appear like more affordable for people, then you want to end in 9.9s and 9.5s. Next, what I want you to do is say, okay, what is key to my product that people like absolutely need? You keep that in your bottom tier. And then you pull out what, like the fluff, the add-on, the bonuses. An example that's used in this is, let's say you're a travel agency and you have two packages. You have a package where people can travel to Paris for 5 days with free breakfast. And then you have a package where people can travel to Rome for 5 days with a free breakfast included. And you want more people to buy the Rome package than the Paris package. Well, all you would do is add a third package that is a trip to Rome without the free breakfast. Another example that's commonly used is, it's called the Economist example. A few years ago, the Economist did something where they had 3 options available on their site. You could purchase their print magazine for $59. You could purchase their online magazine for $125, or you could purchase their print and online for $125. Yes, those last two are the same exact price. They're both $125, and one only got you online, or sorry, one only got you print, and one got you print and online access. So there's different little things that you can do that basically make one option look illogical. People like to feel like they made that decision, that option was illogical, but you actually made that decision for them by creating an illogical and unappealing option. On Molo9 we have right now, if somebody wants to they can get access to Molo9 for $100 for 2 days, or they can get access for an entire month for $2.99. Excuse me. So people can immediately see that $100 option, go, psh, that's dumb. And if they do opt for it, then they have an option to upgrade, which they always take, for a little bit more to get the rest of the month. Now, on the other side, you have your ideal option here, you have your illogical option here, and then you want to have your expensive option on the other side. So you have your option in the middle, which you want people to get, and then you have the option with all of the fluff. Now, the expensive option, people are going to buy it, so don't just make something up. It is something that people buy. What I did for the expensive option on Molo9 is we have some MD9 clients who came to Molo9 and they literally are getting Molo9 as an add-in bonus. They were going to book 2 calls with me anyways, but now what we said is, hey, if you book 2 calls, you get 1 month of Molo9 for free. And this is kind of to try to shift their marketing team over to using Molo9. So they're not calling us as frequently and with questions that they can actually answer themselves now in Molo9. So that's how we did our 3 options. What you could do for your 3rd option is you add in human interaction in some way, shape, or form. You add in consulting calls, you add in human customer support. There's all these different ways that you could add in the 3rd option to be exponentially more expensive. Okay, we went over cheapest versus more expensive. Oh, then you have the 3 rule. You want to have 3 options for people, not 4, not 6, not 12. There are 18 different ways that I could split up the Molo9 subscription. I could make an agency subscription and then have the basic and the pro, and the pro plus they get their consulting package for the year from Molo9. There's 18 different ways that 18 different packages that I could offer on the Molo9 site. We intentionally only offer 3 because you only want to have, people get confused if there's more than 3, you have lower conversion rates. So if you have more than 3 options, then you want to look at doing add-ons and upcharges and upgrades, but do it later on, not on the initial pricing page. If you're someone who's offering services and you're like, but I have so many services I want to offer, I promise you, I know this from personal experience, if you only sell websites on your homepage, consider those your buy-in. And once you've built somebody's website, more often than not, they're going to ask, so do you do social media marketing? So do you have a graphic designer I could borrow? So could you do my email marketing? And they ask you to add all these other things on. So you don't need to worry about losing out on things in the beginning. As your company grows and builds out, you'll have multiple landing pages. So then you'll have a landing page where people come in and they look at your email, your website packages, and then a landing page they come into to look at your email packages and your graphic design packages and all of that. If you are selling products, you want to, like on an e-commerce store, then you may not necessarily want to just sell 3 things. What you would do is sell like 3 things per category or 3 variants of one option. So let's say that you're selling coffee mugs. Okay, well, I could sell this colored coffee mug in 3 sizes, or I could sell this size coffee mug in 3 colors. As you may be thinking, wait, but what about Amazon? They have coffee mugs in 18 colors. In the beginning, you can't keep up with Amazon. You will kill your company if you try to hold all of the inventory without any assurance that people are going to buy it. So just keep it to what you can manage and manage well in the beginning. 3 options, one slightly worse than the other. Oh, okay. So if you want to dive more into this topic, there's a really good book called Brainfluence. And let's see if YouTube prevents me from sharing the link again. No, I can share the link now, of course. Okay, so that book is really good. I highly recommend checking it out if playing with numbers and pricing to get higher conversions is something that intrigues you. That book includes a lot of cliff notes to a lot of studies done by Stanford, Columbia, and a few other top tier schools with behavioral marketing programs. Okay, next thing after you have the pricing done is your copy. And the reason I say to look at pricing first and then copy is because people usually look at copy and they're so drained by the time they finish writing all of the cool wording into their site that they don't touch pricing. Pricing, I think, is much faster to do. Just check off those few parameters, get it done, and then you still have the energy to look at copy. Your website is not a place for you to be philosophical. It is a place to tell people in one sentence what you do and how you do it. Again, this advice is for early stage and young startups. This is not advice for Coca-Cola because everyone knows what they do. People literally do not care about you or me. They care about how what we created can help them. They do build relationships with us just because when you're working with startups, you're usually working with their founders. But immediately, ultimately, in the beginning, the reason they come in to buy the product or service or software is not because they want to be your friend. It's because they want your solution to relieve their stress or anxiety or fears about a specific thing. They want you to help them achieve a specific outcome. So that's what you want to talk about on your website. Okay. That's why I say testimonials, case studies, use cases. This is what we do. This is how it works. This is how you get started. Like very succinct, very basic, straight to the point. If you look at Hotjar's website, I like looking at their website because they literally are an analytics platform. So you know that they're constantly looking at the best data to determine what decisions to make with changing their website. Okay. Next up, we have one more and then we're transitioning. So if you have any questions that you're thinking about, you could start to drop them into the comments box now. Is optimizing your funnel. So optimizing your funnel is something that's very custom to your startup, which is why I recommend bringing this over to Molo9. It's no longer something that I can say, do these 5 steps to optimize your funnel. You want to, let's see if it'll let me drop this link in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you want to, this shows you exactly how to like manipulate the Molo9 settings so that it'll show you only recommendations that optimize your funnel. Keep in mind that I am uploading more to the Molo9 database almost every day, so except for Saturday. So if you don't see something right now, you can drop a request into the request for recommendations into the feedback tab, or just refresh your page like by the end of the week, and you should see more in there. In terms of tools that can help you optimize your funnel, Hotjar is my favorite. Well, first off, I like Hotjar because it's affordable. It's like $1,000 for the year. I looked at an alternative called Orbi, and it's $500 for a month. So I think Hotjar is very affordable for early stage startups. They also have free packages as well. There's also Google Analytics, but the thing that I like about Hotjar that Google Analytics doesn't give you is screen recordings. So I don't know if you saw what Molo9 looked like last week versus this week, or if you've seen how much we're changing week over week over week. Basically what's happening is a few times a week I sit down and I eat my lunch at my desk and literally just watch recordings. And Hotjar does random blind recordings, so I can see, it'll tell me what country the person's in, and then it shows me a recording of like where their mouse clicked and where they scrolled on site, on the web page. So I can very quickly see where there are bugs. For example, we had a button that was actually linking to the wrong page, and I saw a poor user struggling like 4 times to click this button, then getting lost, and then going back, clicking the button, and getting brought to the wrong page again. So I think Hotjar is really great for that. I recommend watching the recordings, not all day, every day. I mean, you do have a company to run. But after each time you do a system update, you change your UX, you change your UI, you do website modifications, because Hotjar recordings and heat maps just allow you to see like what's going on, how people are doing with it, and whether or not it's intuitive. Okay, and then you also have Google Analytics. Google Analytics is great for getting you high-level demographic information about your website visitors, but it's also great for tracking goal completion. So whether or not somebody performed all of the actions that you wanted them to. Okay, as promised, we are now going to open things up to questions from the audience. While I'm waiting for you to drop your questions in, if you could smash that thumbs up button, because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm, I would really appreciate it. In the meantime, I'm going to drop in a few links for you to join us on Facebook and Telegram. Thanks, guys. All right, what questions do you have for me? No questions? We can end early. It's 1:30 on a Friday. I am thinking of changing these to being on Wednesdays instead of Fridays, just so all of us have more energy. But we'll throw out a poll for people to vote before we make that change. Okay. Okay, Haiku. How are you? Jay, you have questions for me? Aha moments from the early stages of my career. So many. So many. I think the biggest aha moment is that Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies use a lot of gray hat growth hacks. And when I first got started in the world of marketing, people were like, oh, you only do white hat, only do white hat. And then I realized that everyone that was telling me to only do white hat growth hacks, they were all getting their gains using gray and black hat growth hacks. So that was very eye-opening. It's just like, I don't know if you saw the post we have on how social media platforms are built. It talks about the growth, how social media platforms change their algorithms over time. And that, once I learned that just completely changed the growth game for me, because then I picked which platforms I was active on based on the age of the platform and like their ranking algorithms. So I know personally quite a few. Yeah, so there's fake followers, and then there's also the one that I found particularly frustrating was that these people would say, oh, it's all about posting great content. It's all about posting great content. And it wasn't about posting great content. It was simply about being the first to post content. And that's what got the engagement. And once I learned like that simple little trick, the way that we were able to get organic reach for MD9 clients and for other startups that I worked with earlier was it was night and day different. I think that was a huge one. And then another one was like what you need to have in place for a startup to look just like the other companies. Like they don't need to have a team of 80. You don't even need a team page, but there are certain things you need up on your site just to have people looking at your site as something that's credible and trustworthy. So those were two big aha moments. Any other questions? Actually posted one of the gray hat growth hacks here. I sent it to you guys in Telegram. I don't know if you saw it. I'll drop it into the links. This one was super surprising to find that a lot of companies use it. But it's creating fake careers, and then they post that fake career across like 20 different hiring platforms, job boards, to boost their SEO. That one was kind of surprising to discover. All right, any other questions from you guys? No, so I think we're all set for today. We can wrap it up. Oh. You wrote a review after reading that tactic. You wrote your AppSumo review after reading that tactic? That's, I was wondering which $1,500 tactic you were referring to. Okay, good to know. I have a few more like that I could post that are kind of funny little tricks. Dirty little secrets of marketers. But yes, that's very funny. Okay, so does anybody else, or Jay, do you have any more questions for me? I think we are going to drop the live Q&As to being bi-weekly. And probably change them to either being on Mondays or Wednesdays moving forward, just because Fridays are a little bit rough for me. I'm usually severely sleep deprived by today. You guys have no other questions? All good on your end? Perfect. And Jay, your contributions in the Facebook group have been greatly appreciated, so thank you. If you guys are wondering, when I say that there are talented agency owners answering questions in the Facebook group, Jay is one of them. He is based in Toronto, and we have a few others that are using Molo9 for their own clients. So that's actually, Molo9 was originally built for agency owners, and with AppSumo, we didn't expect to have so many first-time marketers and founders coming in, but we adjusted Molo9 with the launch playbook to try to meet the needs of more first-time founders. Okay. So if there are no other questions, I am going to let you all go, and keep your eye out for a survey we'll be sending around soon. That'll just be asking you which time and date you prefer for the future live Q&As. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.